The two witnesses are not Ephraim and Judah coming back together. That teaching, which has gotten to be at a preposterous level, violates so many concepts, biblical concepts. Again, it sounds really good. It sounds really good if you're just looking at it for just a moment. But it only takes one verse to blow it out of the water, and there are so many verses that blow it out of the water. It misses on the timeline. It misses on so many different ways. And I'm not calling out anyone who's doing this teaching, but I saw another teaching recently, and it's just gotten to the level that it really needs to be commented on. So let's kind of walk through why it's absolutely not Ephraim and Judah. And again, the two witnesses we have from Daniel 12. And we actually have the day before Passover. You can count the days before Passover when they arrive. Okay? They arrive 39 days before Passover in any given year. Working through Daniel 12. Are we leaving for Exodus 39 days before Passover? Because that doesn't seem to have any correlation whatsoever. Now, in Daniel 12, when it's talking about them, what it says specifically, it's in Daniel 12:5. Now, it says two others, one man on this bank and one man on this bank. Okay? So again, could you stretch that and say that's Ephraim and Judah? Yeah, I think you could. You could stretch it. Because you could say, okay, well, one's on, on one side of Israel, and one's on the other side. So you can stretch that to say Ephraim and Judah, but your timeline doesn't fit in any way, shape, or form. Now let's go ahead and go to the big thing here. If you believe that the two witnesses are Ephraim and Judah coming back together, I certainly hope that you're not female. I certainly hope you don't have children, and I hope that you are not elderly, because if those are the case, you won't be coming back with the Messiah. And beyond the fact that you have violated Revelation 20, because it violates the first and second resurrection rule for humans. So let's walk that through, why there's absolutely a problem there. Because the two witnesses, they die and they go up to heaven. Now think about it. First of all, they go to heaven before they're judged. That's an interesting thing in itself, because that, we're judged, and then we're able to go into heaven, given a resurrected body. The Messiah, he wasn't judged, he knew where he was. And these two witnesses, they are able to go straight up to heaven. The only ones coming back with the Messiah in Revelation 19:14 is the army of heaven. So if you are female, you're not going to be part of the army of heaven. And again, if you're human, you're not going to be part of the army of heaven either, even if you're just this great warrior. But at least we can see a stretch to say, okay, it's possible. But if you're female, you're not going to be part of the army, so therefore, you're not coming back. If you're too young, you're not coming back. If you're too old to be in the army, you're not coming back. So all of a sudden, you have the Messiah on earth for 1,000-year millennial reign, and you're away from him. That doesn't fit. I mean, honestly, why even have, at that point in time, if you have that belief that you're up in heaven and you're going to sit there while the Messiah is on earth for 1,000 years, why even have Ezekiel? I mean, Ezekiel's talking about the temple that's going to be built. Why? You're up there. What's it matter to you? He has the tribal land divisions. What's it matter? You're up in heaven. You're not coming back to earth. So you're out of it. I mean, it doesn't fit so many different things. And that's before I even start really getting into it. And again, it only takes one. And we have from Revelation 12:14, which is our timeline chapter. And one of the things there is in Revelation 12:14, they are out of the serpent's reach. Those on the Exodus are out of the serpent's reach. Now there's a remnant who's outside, who didn't go on the Exodus, and we have that they are under Revelation 11. Satan, Revelation 13, verse 4. Satan gives authority to the Antichrist. In Revelation 13:7, the beast has authority over the earth and over the holy people. So those are the ones on the outside, because we know Satan can't reach those who are on the Exodus. So those who are on the outside, he's got authority over them. Okay. And realistically, when that's happening, you need somebody that's got some protection there. And that's what those two witnesses really are. They're ones, you know, my personal belief is that they are angelic creatures. Okay? But I don't care whether they're an actual man and woman, or two men that are human that are coming up, which will have tremendous power. Doesn't bother me at all if that's the way it is. Who cares? But it would be too, again, if they're going to stand before the one who has authority of the earth, they've got to be coming back with him. So I would think a warrior. Now, my personal belief, it would be Michael and Gabriel, the angels, who would be the two witnesses. And I certainly know Michael is part of the army of heaven, so he would come back. But again, we have, and where this thing really kind of comes from is Zechariah 4, verse 14. And Zechariah 4, the entire chapter starts talking about the two lampstands and the two olive trees. And so because we have this grafted in analogy, it's a real nice, easy fit to say, oh, that's Ephraim and Judah. There's two branches coming back together. We have that from Jeremiah. And again, we're dealing with a Bible that is a jigsaw. That's the easy part. That doesn't work when you start applying it, okay? And these two are anointed to serve the one who has authority over all the earth. Now, who are they serving right now? On this day right now, who are they serving? They're serving the Messiah, or the Creator, because he's the one who has authority over all the earth. Who were they serving 1,000 years ago? They were serving either the Creator or the Messiah, because that's their job. Okay, they've been anointed to do that job. Ephraim and Judah, Ephraim's been out. He wasn't anointed to serve the one who has authority over the earth 1,000 years ago, or 3,000 years ago. When he was kicked out, they were divorced. They were gone. So there's a huge problem and a huge disconnect there. And again, from Zechariah 4:14. They're the two who have authority. They serve the one who has authority over all the earth. However, the issue is Revelation 11:4. They stand before the one who has authority over the earth, and we know from Revelation 13:4 and 7 that's going to be the Antichrist. So that's where they're standing. So when we look at Daniel 12 and we see verse 5, the ones on each side of the riverbank, that's when the Antichrist is invading Israel. Again, it doesn't fit. We have we've got the Messiah, which negates this as completely as well, because he says, when you see the abomination that causes desolation, let those who are in Judah flee to the mountains. Well, that's Judah's leaving. But unfortunately, they left after the two witnesses appeared. It doesn't fit. I mean, you've got massive disconnects here. Okay? In Revelation 20, again, let's just kind of walk it through. You have two different resurrections, and both of them are after the Messiah. You have one when the Messiah returns, which will be your first day of atonement. And then but when do the two witnesses die? The two witnesses die before the seventh trumpet. So if we have this idea that it's Ephraim and Judah coming back together, the two sticks, we need to go ahead and toss the entire first resurrection because it doesn't fit. Just toss it. And those people who have the idea that that Ephraim and Judah, without resurrected bodies, are going to go into heaven, without resurrected bodies, they're all dead. They're not clean enough to be up there, so they're dead people. Does that sound like the will of our Creator? I'm going to bring these people out, and then I'm going to kill them all. I don't think so. Either you get a resurrected body, which is not possible, okay, because it would violate Revelation 20. And again, they've already risen from the dead after 3.5 days, and the people are celebrating. You're telling me we're going to have like 2.5 to 3 million people where everybody's celebrating when they're dead? In addition to which, they have this massive power. And we get back to Job 1 when it comes to the idea of the power these people have. Now, Elijah had very similar powers. He dealt with the idea, just like the two witnesses, one of the powers they have is the ability to shut up the heavens so the rain will not hit. And I think of Elijah when I think of that, where he did the same thing, and he said, and it wasn't just, okay, if you upset me, I'll shut down the rain. He said, I shut down the rain, and if you want rain, you have to come to me, and I have to approve the rain to come down. That's totally different. Okay? Again, that's when I think of the two witnesses shutting the heavens from the rain, I think of the same thing with Elijah. They just say, there's no more rain. It's over. You want a rain, you have to come to us, and we'll have to grant authority for that rain. But rain is a blessing from the Creator. You think you're going to get rain during a time where He's pouring out wrath? I don't think so. So I see that in that particular way. But we do know, again, Moses is the one, he delivered the edicts for all the plagues, but he's not the one who created the plagues. Now, again, he threw something in the water to turn it into blood. But it's the Creator who's doing all that. Others were doing it. Moses was not out there killing the newborn. That was the angel of death. So I see these as a heavenly creature, because in Job, one of the things in Job, the first chapter, we see one of the issues from Satan is that he has tremendous power. Because Job has indicated to the Creator, hey, you got this hedge around Job. Of course he's really righteous to you. Take it away and he'll curse you to your face. And so the Creator does not do that. The Creator's not the one that cursed Job, and he said, I deliver him into your hands. It was Satan who had that power to do that. Now again, his power is heavenly creatures have powers well above our own. However, when compared to the Creator of the universe, they have nothing. We have nothing to them, and they have nothing to the Creator. Again, his powers are not even describable. They're just beyond power. But again, as we walk it through, it doesn't fit. There are too many things here that violate, and you only have to have one to violate it. And so, again, if you're in faith, you would basically start screaming and say, I hope it's not this idea that we are the two witnesses. If we're the two witnesses, then we're dead men. We're going into heaven, and all of a sudden we have to be killed because we or we're going to resurrected bodies, and we don't get to come back down to see the Messiah. Maybe some portion of us, maybe some small portion gets to come back and see the Messiah, but other than them, nope. And in addition to which, it violates so many other aspects. People who try to talk about this, they don't have any understanding of the Exodus. They don't understand the path that we take, and they're basically wiping out multiple books of the entire Bible. Nahum has never occurred before. Obadiah has never occurred before. Joel has never occurred before. They occurred during the Exodus. So if you have this two-stick theory, because they're standing before the one with authority over the earth in Revelation 11:4 for the two witnesses, those books of the Bible are lies. We'll toss them, because those things are not going to happen during the millennial reign, because there's not going to be war. So we'll disregard those entire books of the Bible so that we can get this principle in of the two-stick theory. Again, it sounds good. It sounds reasonable when you just start scratching the surface, but when you look deep into it, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all.